Well, this is first on WTOC Plus. Students at the Savannah Arts Academy got to shine on stage, winning the 2AA state championships in the GHSA one-act play competition last weekend. It was for their adaptation of The Seagull by Anton Chekhov, and several students also received individual honors, including senior Tyler Shaw, who won Best Actor. Now, I spoke with Tyler as well as the play's director and theater department chair, David Poole, about the recognition as well as what it means for the high school. Here's an extended look at our conversation. Appreciate you two sitting down with us today to talk about this big accomplishment for both the school and the theater department here. First off, David, tell me a little bit about the competition.
We just competed in the GHSA Class AA championship. We competed regionals about 2 weeks ago before then, and we won regionals, and then we go on to state, and we just won state. We're state champions in the state of Georgia.
And this is a first time in school history.
I believe so, yes. I believe that the theater department, this is the first time in school history that we've won state. Yeah, we've won regionals. We won regionals for the past 3 years, but we always got to state, and then we were like, oh, okay, not happening. But this year it happened, and we were so excited, and it's just been a wonderful experience.
That's awesome. And not just winning the one-act competition, but Tyler winning Best Actor.
Yeah.
How did it feel to get your name called?
It's kind of surreal. They didn't even call my real name, they called my character name, and so I almost believed that it wasn't me. But it kind of registers after a bit, and you know, that walk up to the stage is always nice.
And talking about the characters in the play, this was The Seagull by Chekhov, or an adaptation of it.
Right.
David, why did you decide to do that show?
I always like to do something a little bit on the literary side, and this piece itself has been a dream show for me to direct for a long time. And I also wanted to do it because it's such an important piece in the canon of theater. And since we are educating our students here as well as competing in these competitions, we want to make sure that they get a well-rounded education in the theater.
And Tyler, what was it like being part of this production and kind of getting into character? What's that process like?
I mean, it's nothing like anything I've ever done before. I mean, I've done theater all my life, but doing this, there's definitely an emotional depth that you have to find in each character, and I mean, he emphasizes it every time that there's even like the littlest thing that you do, every movement across the stage, or every time you look at somebody, that's a connection that you're making in the world of the play. So it's kind of finding all of those individual pieces and understanding your character to a depth that you can play it.
You said you've been doing theater for a long time. What first got you into it?
I always tell the story. When I was in, I think, first grade, we had those little papers that said, what do you want to do when you grow up? And so I put actor. I didn't know what else to put down, and so I showed it to my parents, and they said, do you want to do it? And that's what got me into it. And then, I mean, I fell in love with it after my first show, and so I just kept doing it over the years.
David, how's hearing a student story like that feel for you?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing to see them grow. You know, I've known Tyler for 3 years out of the 4 that he's been here. You know, when I first started 3 years ago, you know, Tyler was one of my students, and we decided to do a one-act back then, and then we've just grown. This whole company has grown. You know, the students, it's just amazing to see how they grow, and then they prosper, and then they go on.
And talking about the one act, it's kind of a unique competition. It's not, you know, a lot of people think theater, they think 2 acts, you know, this grand thing that's 2 hours long. Tell me a little bit about what it takes to put on a one act.
Well, the one act competition is kind of a little odd because people are like, what? Because it's timed, it's a timed event. And you have to do a setup, a strike down of your set and everything. And the setup is, we get like 15 minutes, what they call a 15-minute walkthrough. Then there is 3 adjudicators that watch the show. And in this particular competition, we have 55 minutes to set up and take down, not including the 15-minute walkthrough. Yeah, so it's like, it's kind of, you're jamming pack all this information and a beautiful performance, and you're moving on the set and you're taking off the set, and then you're taking up all the spike marks for all the set pieces and all of that. And it is sort of discouraged for an audience who comes to see it to actually applaud until we end the piece and then we say clear, and then we applaud. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, what's, pacing wise, I bet it feels kind of hectic. What's it like being on stage during that?
I mean, it's always a little stressful, and I mean, we've been doing it for 3 years now, so we've kind of found ways to understand what our time is, because I mean, obviously you're on stage, you don't know what time you're at, but we had like a grandfather clock that would chime when we had 5 minutes left, but I mean, we work so hard to make sure that we're in that time limit, and I mean, when we first started this one, we were like 30 minutes over.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you figure out how you cut it down. How do we get it even shorter? How do we get the transitions faster? What is going to happen that keeps the story going? And that's the most important part, is you still have to tell the complete story. You can't just give up in the middle of the play and just say, cut, we're done. Okay, we're not going to make our time, so we're going to get off stage now,
Oh, that's awesome. Back long time ago when I was in high school, we would do that, a similar thing with broadcast, because I was in our TV department, and you'd be on a clock too, but you'd have people in your ear because you'd wear those IFBs, and you could at least be counted down like that. I couldn't. A grandfather clock's an old school way to do that.
Yeah, well, we had in our sound score, our soundscape, which was built by a student. Student composed all the music for the piece too, it's beautiful music. We were talking about the sound engineers, and at that moment when the soundscape was happening, it was like this ticking of a clock, because it's Chekhov, so it's like clocks, and there's a lot of things in Chekhov that are very familiar sounds. And so we had this ticking of a clock all during it, and we were like, oh, how are we going to let the cast know that it is going to be like 5 minutes before? They got to get this done. And so one of them came up, or Miss Glass, who was my colleague who also helps with the one act this year, said, we'll have a grandfather clock chime. And it goes ding in the middle of it, and we go, 5 minutes, that's it. That's how we know. And then, of course, we have the stage managers going, making all these like symbols backstage,
Clock's ticking.
Yes, yeah, let's go,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tyler, you said that you've kind of always known you wanted to do theater. Obviously, you're a senior here at SAA. Is that something you'd like to continue after you graduate?
Absolutely. I mean, you start theater and it's always gonna become a part of your life. So in any way I can, even if it's just doing it at like a community theater or helping out with like students at a school, I want to be a part of it as much as I can.